All right, so we have here Monique Wayne. Well, I said it wrong anyway. Miss Monique, how are you? Thank you for stopping by today.
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, I want to give everyone just, some background knowledge of who you are and, what's been going on for the past couple months. So, you are a celebrity chef, correct?
Yes, I was a chef for Sidora. Yeah.
And so, have you ever worked with any other celebrities besides Drew Sidora?
Yes, I have. I worked for a rapper.
Who's a rapper?
I don't want to say his name.
Okay, so you can't say his name because you signed like an NDA.
Yes, and there's so much stuff going on right now. I don't want to.
Okay, that's totally understandable. So, with that previous celebrity, you signed an NDA. There were contracts and stuff like that involved. However,
Yes.
that's not the case for Drew Sidora from the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
No, that's not the
Oh,
case.
okay. And so, we kind of went through your social media. So, for a while, you've been pretty much showing people, showcasing, your business and things like that you have done. Is your business like a LLC or something that you've been able to, sustain your lifestyle on for a long time now?
Yes, I have been living. That's how I make my living, cooking for various people. Um, and yes, it is a LLC.
Okay, so it's an accredited business. So how did you get in contact with Drew Sidora?
I met her through a friend, and when I met her, I went straight in cooking, like cooking for her. The first time that I ever encountered with Drew and her entourage, I sent a plate in through her manager. Um, yeah, she liked it, and then the next thing you know, she wanted me to come and cook for everybody. So that's what I did, and that's how I got hired that day. That's how we got started.
And so who's her manager?
I His name is First, I guess. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know because everybody in Drew Sidora's entourage has different labels. Like they
Yeah,
may
that's
be.
why I was like curious as to who, because on the show it's one person. When you book her for interviews, it's another person, and it's her husband, and it's her mama. So that's why I was genuinely interested as to who her manager is that connected you to.
Oh, well, her manager didn't connect us. I met her through a friend of mine, and but the manager was the one who was so interested in getting the
Okay.
food.
And
Yeah.
so you're primarily from Chicago, correct?
Yes.
And that's where you currently reside.
Yes.
And so when you were
Now, because I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's where I am now. But last year, when this happened, I had just moved to Atlanta. So with me working with Drew, kind of went downhill, it was a bad experience. Yes, I moved back to Illinois.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. So you guys, even though I think Drew is also from Chicago, I'm pretty sure that's where you guys got your mutual friends from. And so did you
Mhm.
move to Atlanta to work with Drew specifically, or were you already having plans to move down to Atlanta?
Well, I was there visiting, but
Mhm.
when I got the job, I was like, wow, okay, I can go ahead because I was like up to moving anyway. I didn't want to stay in Illinois anymore.
Mhm.
And Atlanta was a choice that I had, in mind. But then when I got the job with her, it made it a lot better. And then I was like making arrangements to stay there.
Okay. And so when you guys, she tasted your food, she obviously thought it was fabulous. I saw some dishes that you had in a Pyrex, glass container. I said, now this is professional. Because usually they'll
Yes.
put it in the aluminum foil pan, but you came with the stuff in a Pyrex dish. You meant business. So when you guys were kind of speaking and she said, I wanted you to come cook for me, was that for a private, like, family event, or was that for like an everyday private at home chef? Like, what was that conversation like?
Um, the conversation was, well, on that day, they were getting ready for filming to
Hmm.
start season 14. So I think everybody was over there. That's what it appears to me, like a meeting or something. I brought the food in. They wanted me to bring it at a specific time. So I brought everything in. Anthony was there. Her manager, a couple of people was there. There was people there. Only person that was not there at the moment was Ralph. Ralph was not there, but everybody else that's in her little entourage was there. And I cooked for 7 people that day, but the agreement would be that I would come 3 days a week, cooking for 7 people, but enough for leftovers, if that makes sense. So I would come 3 days a week, but just say if I come on Monday, I need to make enough for Tuesday, like that.
So she wanted full hair and to-go plates. She wanted you to
Basically,
make up for a to-go plate.
enough for leftovers for 2 days. Basically that was the agreement. And then I'm like, okay. And she wanted me to buy the food. So I'm like, because I sent out a message like, oh, so am I to supply? Because they wanted to know my price. So I'm giving her the price off of the things that she wants me to do. She wants me to go to the grocery store, pick it up, cook it, buy it, bring it to her house. That was an hour away from where I was staying at. And then, okay, to bring it there and fix the plates. So she wanted me to do all that. When I gave her my price, she told me it was too much. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, waited a couple days. She switched me from the from the cook to the nanny. Asked me if I can come in and keep the kids. I needed to keep them away from the cameras while the cameras was rolling and, just interact with them. She was at home, but yeah, she needed me to be the nanny to do it, the night nanny.
Quick question. So you had given her the price after you had already prepared and cooked the food?
She was asking me that before, and I had given her a price. But see, now mind you, I'm talking to her through an assistant. So, yeah, she asked me how much was my price. I gave her my price, and then yeah, she was telling me that was too much, and how much, because basically when I cooked for that one day, it was like I was supposed to cook for the 3 days that week. You see what I'm saying? Like I was supposed to cook for the 3 days and then give her the price that I would charge her per week. So I had given her a price that I charged per week. But instead of her paying me after 2 days, she asked me to come in on another position. So I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird, but I went on with it because, like I said, it wasn't like maybe I just met her through, the way we met and the way I was kind of feeling her. Yeah, it was more of a comfortable situation. And that's my fault as well. But I just felt, yeah, it was a comfortable situation. I thought maybe I was going to get my money and everything was cool. But then when she called me for the nanny position, I'm like, I paused on the phone. And it was like, well, I know, because, I'm a mother and a grandmother. So I'm like, I don't keep no kids. I leave my kids and come keep somebody else's kids, But when they said just be from 5 to 11, I'm like, well, okay, my baby will be out of school and I could do it. So I went and I did it. But then she didn't like the price that I was going to charge her to do that either.
After you had already done it?
Yep.
Hold on. Now, in the beginning, I asked you if you worked with like other people, if this was an accredited business. So you don't seem like the type to usually do that with your business, to start a service without one getting a contract, because look at where we are right now. Clearly an NDA was needed. Whatever. Thank God she didn't make you sign an NDA, because even if she didn't pay you, the NDA would have been contractually binding. But there was no paperwork that kind of detailed, what was going to be paid for this, that, and the third. And like you said, you kind of admitted, like, you guys met on a friendly type of situation. Like, you was my homegirl's homegirl. So, kind of do a situation like that. But that does not seem like a good business practice, to perform services without, especially services that you don't even offer. Like you're a private chef. I'm not a private nanny, au pair. But there was a part of your story where you said that you had to come in at a specific time and that they were filming. So do you believe that because of everything that was happening on the show with, Sheree and who else? Who else is on that show? Candy and all them. Do you believe that Drew purposely found an opportunity in you to make it look like her lifestyle was a certain type of way on the show by having a private chef for her everyday type of situation?
Well, I will say this: I didn't come encounter with the cameras or any of the ladies when I was at her house. I was only with the children and Drew and Ralph and Ralph's assistant. So those were the only people who I was around when I was doing the nanny part of the job. So I didn't see any of those people. But in my opinion, yes, I believe that she overdid herself, was trying to overdo it, maybe to try to be like some of the other ladies, like she has so many people to fill all these positions. Because I saw where she said that she had 7 assistants. I don't know how many assistants, but I'm pretty sure I saw one person being worked in the ground. So I don't know any of the other ones, but that's not my concern. My concern is to get my money, to get what's owed to me. Her husband, he came up saying something like, well, just think of it as no, he said, it's like a trial. And I'm like, a trial? What does that mean? He was like, you just thinking of it like day in our lives. Like a day in your life.
All right, winos, check out our Unwine with Tashak store. We got sweatshirts that say, now I gotta go and I ain't got it. We got crop top, wine mug, water bottles. We got it all, okay? So be sure to hit that link below.
I'm like, who are you? Like, I didn't even know who you was. Like, I grew up with, Woody Huxtable, Tootie from Facts of Life. Like, I don't know you, Drew.
You don't know what show Ralph has ever been on.
Huh?
You don't even know what show.
Have he been on a show? I didn't know he was on a show.
I thought he's an actor. What does he do?
Nothing. He make mad music, and it obviously is putting Drew's brain to sleep. Like, cause she acts like she don't, have her own mind. She knows she needs people to help her. She let Ralph run them off or do whatever he does. I was there. I did things that I did from my heart. And then I didn't even, when she tried to change me again from the nanny to a chef now 1 day instead of the 3 days, that's when I'm like, hold up. Okay. So now, I need to be accommodated for what I've done already. Like, I'm doing all these different positions and I haven't gotten any money. So I was told, like, oh, you're thinking about small-term money instead of long-term money.
Okay. So who told you that you were thinking about short-term money versus long-term money?
That would be Drew. The message is coming from Drew.
And what
Because
was the promise of the long-term money?
you said, what does that mean?
No, what was the promises that she was making for the long-term money?
I have no idea. I guess they, to sum it all up, because I was confused for so long. So what I'm thinking is maybe they thought that me being there in their house was good enough for me. I don't know who does that. I don't know who go from their home with their kids and goes to someone else's house to perform work activities and not get paid. I'm not that way. I don't get I don't get fascinated over going to somebody's house and folding clothes and keeping kids and bathing their children. And then I'm like, how is it a trial? I'm asking him this on the phone because Ralph and the so-called manager, they're the ones who called me because Drew, no more conversation. But when I was there at her house, it was cool. But now, when I wanted my money, it was no more conversation with her. So when I started sending emails and invoices and everything, that's when Ralph called me. So he called me with all that cocky stuff, talking about a trial and talking about a day in their lives and stuff. So he also asked me for my Cash App and said that he was going to send me some money. He didn't say how much. So when I gave him my Cash App, when we got off the phone, because I was speaking very professional to him, because I was thinking he was going to accommodate me and this was going to be the end of it. Because he actually told me on the phone, oh, he don't want to hear nothing else about this either. I'm like, okay, well, he must finna pay me. He don't want to hear the end, this the end of it. It's like a threat. So I got off the phone. I got a Cash App for $150. Okay. I'm talking about my top was gone. I'm like, I know that this man didn't just send me. So I called, no answer. I text and I said, oh, this must have been what Ralph said, because they called me from the manager phone. Oh, this must have been a joke, right? And he was just like, that was the payment. He was saying that on the phone, that was the agreement. There was no agreement on no phone about no 150. I would have cursed him out so bad if he would have told me he was going to send me 150. Like, I had to drive an hour away from my house to his house every night to get there. And then I have messages. I have everything. I don't know what she's thinking about, but it is what it is. I don't know. I tried to serve her. Ralph came to the door. He would not accept the papers from the sheriff. He said she wasn't home and that they couldn't leave him with him. So they've been sued so many times. They're probably professionals at dodging the bullet. But this fly is not going to go away. I want my money, and especially because the reason I feel so adamant about it is because I left it alone, because I thought there was nothing I could do. I couldn't touch them. I was calling. I was reaching out to some of the other girls on the show. I reached out to Marlo. I reached out to a handful of them. What's her name? Platoon, she did call me back, but that was, of course, she's not on the show anymore, so there was nothing she could do, but she was very nice, and she did, wow, she was sentimental to my feelings. She's the only one who reached back out to me. But Marlo, when I DM'd her, she did bring it to the other ladies, and that's how it got on the reunion part 3. Because Marlo gave, and Sanya read the DM.
So she read your DM and never responded or gave any type of sympathy, but then Marlo took your DM and brought it onto the reunion.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. So that's what I just looked at it, and I'm like, wow, because I didn't have a heads up. Like, if she would have maybe reached out like, hey, I got your message. I hate to happen to you. I don't know. But she didn't say anything, no. And how I found out, my sister called me like, hey, they read your DM on the show. Because I had stopped watching it. I just stopped watching it. Because it was just depressing. And it was like, wow, this lady doing all this. And she can't pay me my money. Like, why? And so, yeah.
How much was the original invoice for the 3 days as a private chef?
Well, I don't want to speak numbers, because at this point, it's not even where it was.
The original, when you finish buying food, when you finish your travel and your mile expenses, your hourly rate, you're right, you don't have to give me specifics.
I can't tell you
what ballpark range are we talking about that she did she was not able to financially compensate you?
Right, at least over $1,000.
So 1,000 to 3,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it wasn't, to be honest, just to let you know how cheap she is, it wasn't even 3,000. So
it was 1,000 to 2,000 for 3 days for 7 people, plus to-go plates.
Plus to-go plates, plus dealing with the kids. I had to pick the kids up from school. I had to then interact with the kids, fix their plates, fix their plates. One of them gets tutoring, so I was there while they were tutoring, having playtime with the other two children. Then I had to get their clothes ready for showers. I had to actually put the 3-year-old daughter in a shower, which was
Who just met you for you to have my child naked?
bathing her. Exactly,
Yeah.
and especially for a trial, right? A trial. What even is? Do you even know what is the trial? Like, what are these? What is a trial? Because I know what a trial is, but in their terms, what do you mean a trial? And if it's a trial, don't you supposed to tell me? And another thing, if it's a trial, why are you asking me what's my ETA, when I'm coming, how long it's gonna be, stuff like that? This is like pressing me to be there. Ask me.
So basically, she tried to treat you like a intern, a chef nanny intern, an unpaid intern that's unaccredited. Because usually an intern will get credit for school or something like that. This is nothing.
Nothing.
It's very odd. Since when you were around their home, did you see anything of like a financial deficit of anything that would? Because I don't understand, especially after you've made T-shirts, you've been on social media. I would have paid you a little $1,200, even if that wasn't the price of it. I would have simply gave you a $1,200, file
Yeah.
to get you to go away.
Away, flag or away. Exactly. So I'm like, I don't know what her financial, but I know she what do you call it? Recycle her wigs or go send them off to be repaired or whatever. But I don't even do that. Okay. So, but okay, whatever. Yeah, it's just I don't know about her financial situation. I do know that she has a morning nanny. I was the night nanny. She had me cooking. The manager has a lot of roles. He plays a lot. Everybody in there cooking, fold clothes. Okay, everybody in there gonna do some housekeeping.
If she has all these people around to do all this stuff, what is her and Ralph doing? Because she's no longer on the show. Ralph, I really don't know what that man does. And besides the Real Housewives of Atlanta, when everybody's cooking and cleaning and watching the kids, and you got different people watching your children, what do they do during the day?
Ralph, he'd be in his office, and I guess he's busy or something. I don't know. But Drew, she puts a deaf ear on when she's in the house. She's on the phone. I'm asking her questions because when it was time to bathe her daughter, I'm like, okay, can she bathe herself? Like, because I was instructed to put the 10-year-old put the 3-year-old in the tub with the 10-year-old son at first. Those were the directions.
So Drew wanted you to bathe her 3-year-old daughter.
Let me make this clear.
Okay.
Her first instruction was that the very first instruction when I did the walkthrough, it was to put all 3 of the children in her shower, 2 boys and the little girl. But then when it was time for showers, I got a text to say, put the 10-year-old in the tub with the 3-year-old little girl because the other little boy played too much. So we're not going to do that tonight. Just put those 2 in. But when it came time for showers, when I went to go get the little girl's clothes from her room, she actually wanted to stay in her own room to take a shower in there because everybody has their own shower in their own room. So yeah, she wanted to take a shower in her own room. So I told that to Drew, and Drew was like, oh, wow, good. So at that point, I thought we were going to swap out. I was going to stand in there and wait for the bigger boys to get out and just hand them their clothes, and maybe she would go and wash up the little girl. But it didn't go that way. So I went down, and then I'm like, oh my God, so do I supposed to wash her up? I go back down, like, hey, can she wash herself up, or do I need to wash her up? Deaf. Now she can't hear nothing. She on the phone. She can't hear me. So I'm like, okay. So I called the assistant and asked, okay, so do I supposed to, and she was just letting me know to just wash her important parts. So I'm like, yeah, I do got to wash her up. So that's what I did. And I did it for those days that I was there because she was excited about being in her own restaurant. So yeah, that's what happened.
That is so odd. So Drew was shocked that her 3-year-old wanted to take a shower in or take a bath in her own bathroom.
Yeah,
And
she's like,
not,
wow, that's good. Yeah.
and why did the older boys need assistance with taking a shower? Because I feel like 10 to 13, that's
Yeah, you can go ahead and take your own. What I'm saying is when I said maybe swap out, just meaning I didn't think she wanted me to wash up her little girl. Neither, I know I don't have to wash up the boys. That's what I'm saying. So then I would just stand there maybe and just wait for them to get out, hand them their clothes or whatever I needed to hand them. That's what I was thinking. So no, I didn't think I should wash up any of the kids. Not because I have 4 children. I have 3 girls. My son is the oldest. I wouldn't dare let nobody wash my daughter up. No, that's something that I can do. I don't care how busy, how much of a celebrity I am. I can take time to do that. Okay. Or teach her how to do it herself. That's the case. But yeah.
so Drew was walking around the house talking on the phone while she essentially allowed a stranger that she had just met a week, 2 weeks prior, wash her 3-year-old daughter. And at that time, she had no intentions of paying you for that service.
And so just imagine how much of a shock that was to me because I'm like, wow, I thought I was in there. You know, you'd be like, okay, well, I'm in there, but I wasn't crazy enough to continue to do work without getting paid because I'm like, this stops here. And then you know, on the receipts that I have, it's like it's constantly you're asking me to go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I'm like, hold up, it stops here. Where's my money for that and that and that? You know what I mean? And then after that, no more communication. That's what got me. And then like I said, I felt like I couldn't touch them. Like, wow, I can't even get to these people. This man done sent me $150. That's it. I'm done. And he put a gift on it. He said it was for a gift. Like, what kind of gift is it? And you know, Ralph, he knew a lot because Drew never talked as much. Now, we were there in the house together those days, but Drew didn't talk to me a lot, but Ralph did. Ralph knew, like he would ask questions that he's supposed to ask, but she never did. Like, so Ralph knew that I had just moved to Atlanta and he knew my situation. So I don't know if they do that to people, like try to.
Did you have a conversation with the other employees to ask if they were getting paid or if they were being compensated for anything?
No, I didn't because these are like Ralph. I don't want to say certain stuff, but Ralph, his assistant, he's a guy, and they're really close. So I didn't think that I could confide in him to ask him anything. So
What do you mean by really close?
I mean really close. Like they hang out a lot.
In his office?
Everywhere he is. Everywhere he is. Like, for example, one time they came in, they were exercising, and I guess his bones or body was hurting. So Ralph just scooped and gave him, you know, some powder, some stuff, and just put it in his mouth. So then the dude was like, so later when I walked past him, I'm like, what was that Ralph had gave you earlier? He was like, I don't know. Like, you don't know? You just open wide and just let a man just throw something in your mouth. You don't know what it is. I was like, oh, okay.
His assistant is zesty, like, oh, I don't know.
You just said you don't know. Yeah. He just said
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it is yeah. So no, I didn't feel like I could confide in him. I think they have their people pretty much like I said, they all have all these different positions, and they don't have a problem with it. They don't have a problem with doing this, doing that, doing it. Because when I came in, because I introduced myself cooking, but when I came in with the children, I didn't have to cook. The manager was cooking for the kids. All I had to do was fix my kids' plate because they were labeled my kids when I was there.
Yours.
Mine. So I had to make my kids' plate. I had to fold my kids' clothes, wash my kids' clothes, and get my kids' clothes out for the morning nanny.
I'm so sorry. I'm over here. We're just not gonna move past the zesty assistant who opens his mouth for random powder when you doing your workout thing. We're not moving past that. Just letting you know. So I had to Google what Drew Sidora's husband does or did. And so he played college football and then served as an advisor to a Fortune 500 company that's not listed. He worked for companies like ADP. And for people who are not familiar with ADP, if you work in retail, that is the payroll company that usually pays out. This is where it gets kind of funny, that pays people when you clock in and out. Like if you worked at a Macy's or a Bloomingdale's, you use ADP to clock in and out, and that's who issues your payroll checks. And so this man worked regular 9 to 5 jobs after high school. He played college ball, didn't go to the NFL, didn't go to the RXP, got a regular job. And then as soon as he married Drew Sidora, he started his own. He's the founder and CEO of a business economics and music theory mind of music, where he uses music for this man don't do nothing. He don't do nothing to warrant an office and a house, and he doesn't do nothing to warrant a 24-hour personal assistant. And it's very odd that they did bring up his zestiness and his closeness to a personal assistant or whatever the case may be. Nobody really gave a lot of specifications on the show, but I just find it very odd that someone who worked for ADP, which is a payroll company that a lot of HR people use, you would be well equipped and well educated on how to pay people and in the legality of not paying people for their services. So I just want to ask the person, was Ralph like intimidating or aggressive or trying to, I guess, overexert his masculinity when you guys were working or interacting with each other?
To be honest, him and Drew never are in the same. When I was there, I didn't see them like, together like that. He would be somewhere else, literally, and she's in a whole nother place. Like, I didn't see them interacting, so I can't say how their relationship really is with each other. I know his daughter really loves him, and she tries not to go to sleep until he go to sleep. And I couldn't leave until they go to sleep. It's like, Ralph, get upstairs now. Just
Did you feel uncomfortable at any point, or did you feel like he was trying to like press you or pressure you into, or just sideline you if you were asking questions or anything like that?
No, actually, I feel like Ralph actually was telling me that he had he was talking to me about an upcoming project for us that I could, because he was doing meal preps or something. They were going to do the Drop It with Drew thing, and that he was going to have meal preps that he was going to be doing. And so he was asking me, saying that we could probably have that going on. So those were a lot of things that took into consideration when I was like, well, I'm in there, we cool, you know what I'm saying? But I want to always specify, I was never that cool to not get my money. Okay. I was never that cool to not get my money, but I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I wanted to know how much, because they kept on, with these prices, like, what's going on? Like, so yeah, but Ralph, he asked me more questions than Drew did as far as interviewing or something like that. And then, like I said, he was always with his assistant. He was always right there. Now, was Drew and Ralph together a lot? I didn't see them together a lot. Maybe I think they had one meeting when I was there, and I had to get the kids, and they were in there together. But that's because they had other people there. But other than that, no. Ralph was always doing something else. And yeah, back to the fact that he didn't do nothing that you just said. And he sat up there and tell me that I should be like, look at it as a day in their life. Like, what does that even mean? I'm still confused. I really want to know, what does that mean, a day in your life? Because it was boring there. There's nothing like lit. What am I happy to be in your life for? And then he rides a coach plane like me. Like, what kind of excitement would I get? I don't know. But yeah, that's how cocky he is. That's the type of stuff he say. He runs off people from Drew. The little time I was there, I just know that he's not nice to the people who really help her out. So.
All right, winos, check out our Unwind with Tashak store. We got sweatshirts that say, "Now I gotta go and I ain't got it." We got crop top, wine mug, water bottles. We got it all, okay? So be sure to hit that link below.
So what legal actions have you taken against Drew Sidora and her husband?
I've taken Drew to small claims court. I started there. I'm waiting. They have 2 more tries. Actually, I'm going to call them tomorrow to see if they did the second attempt, because they only did the first attempt on October 12th. And like I said, Ralph denied it. He wouldn't take the papers. But here recently, not too long ago, they had a flood in their house and they had a plumber to come out and they didn't pay him. He took them to small claims court and he won. So they may be an expert now at dodging that bullet as far as getting served. So I don't know if I'm going to have to take it further, but I am. I'm going to fight them if it takes my last dollar, if it takes for me to start selling plates outside of a church. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to get my lawyer and I'm going to fight them. And the reason why is because I'm not the only person who they've done this to. And they feel like it's okay. And I even have, if it's like the lady who was there, if you remember me bringing food, the cleaning lady, she was there. She was a young lady, one like my kid's age. She cleaned up. They said it was a trial for her. They didn't pay her. So, and I'm not that way. Anything somebody do for me, I pay them. A tip, something, anything. You don't do people like that, because whether that girl came, I don't know if they told her it was a trial or not, but they had her working. And I do have a video of her, because when I was videoing my food, I got Anthony, I got a lot of stuff in that video. So like, if I'm trying to get in contact with Anthony, I can't find him. I don't know if they took his name where you can't Google him or what, but I can't find Anthony. I need somebody to find Anthony so we can have a conversation, because I have a video for him.
What video?
It's just a video of, because I'm confused. After I did that, and that was before the taping, I thought that Anthony was fired because they had actually fired him that day. But looking at the show, he was on there. So I don't know what happened. And that's why I want to have that conversation with him and just let him know I have that video, because I don't know what type of fake stuff went on. Well, she probably had to let him stay. She didn't want to let him stay. So yeah.
And in this video, it's just Anthony around the house after he supposedly got fired and stuff, like, because I get fired all the time here and I still be in the house.
No.
So I got to be specific as to what was in the video that Anthony should reach out to.
Well, basically, what was in the video, it was just him having a discussion with her manager, the dude, and yeah. So it was just a conversation with them. Yeah.
Miss Monique got some. Well, even though this is hilarious. It's not funny because at the end of the day, you know, like you said, this is your livelihood, and this is something that clearly has affected your business because
It really has.
even if you worked for free or a trial, you're going to be able to get a good recommendation, maybe a shot. Because I know celebrities who do that. Somebody comes, okay, I'll give you a shout out on social media. I'll recommend your business, stuff like that. So it's like a week or 2 weeks that you wasted doing stuff that you probably you don't do.
Exactly.
And like you said, by Drew putting this bad taste in your mouth about Atlanta, you uprooted yourself to move to Atlanta, and then you moved back to Chicago because it just wasn't.
She kind of put a damper in my situation. She messed me up because I thought that I was getting something that I didn't get. So it kind of it messed me up right then. And then here recently, how about? Oh yeah, she's in trouble. Like she just had me to lose because they were saying that it's a blogger put it on there. So now they're calling me a liar. So now it's like a am I lying situation type thing. I have to defend myself and stuff like that. So one lady didn't even want to use me. She didn't even want me to. She didn't want to continue with the job at all.
So you actually lost clients. You actually lost people.
Just lost a client.
Business just off of Drew and her husband, you know, not owning up to the services that you provided and that they refused to pay you for.
Exactly. And now she's not saying anything. The last thing that I have in my head from Drew is on that platform, she said, oh, that's not true. That's somebody that never even worked for me. And I was appalled. My mouth was wide open. I'm like, wow. Because I was like already appalled that my DM was on national TV and I didn't even know about it. So I was already appalled about that. I'm like, oh my God, that's me. And then Drew was like, oh, first of all, when they was reading it, she was like, that's not facts. That's not facts. So I'm just hearing, this is what I hear in my head, this lady's voice, just like denying the job that I did from my heart. Like doing what I did from the heart was to do stuff that a nanny, come on now, why would I leave? I would not have left if you know me, I'm gonna leave my kids to go and take care of somebody else's children. Absolutely not. That's not something that's my passion, okay?
I don't even got kids. I don't want to even leave the non-kids I have to go watch your kids. So I feel you.
Right. Why would I do that? And so when I did that, I'm doing that part from my heart. You asked me because you was like, you feeling me, you know, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm a very warming person. I am. And I stayed there a long time the day I cooked. So I felt that and I did that for her. And then when I found out they was trying to play me, it was kind of messed up. I'm like, man, that's crazy. And then to not get anything, because to me, $150, and then it's for a gift, so you didn't get me nothing anyway. But $150, how could you? Like
groceries alone is like $300.
Exactly. And
gas alone. When I was living in Atlanta, gas was like $60 just to get you from Lawrenceville to Midtown Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And that's like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I drove an hour, 50 something minutes to get to her house.
So 2 hours once you're going back home.
Yes. And then it was dark. It was so dark. Like leaving her house, I was so scared, but I did it. You know, I was so scared to leave because it's so dark. Like, oh my God, it is so dark going that way. And so I was just like, but I did it. And even my daughter, oh my gosh, she's mad. Now, if y'all hear from her, she will light it up because she's so upset. She was like, Mom, you mean to tell me they're not gonna pay you? You cut yourself. You was late picking me up for school. You know, she was heated. Like my daughter was so mad. Like she was like, you was late and she was like, and they didn't even pay you.
Oh, that's hard.
There's nothing I can do about it, baby. But yeah, so she's like, yeah, my daughter is like really upset. And she's 11. She know better.
I was gonna say can't even use her. But No, that really is unfortunate, and it's really messed up, and it's actually more messed up that you're losing clients just based off just wanting to get your what's due onto you. So definitely we are going to follow up with you in a couple months once we get to a head, and hopefully it gets resolved, because the first thing we're going to do is we are going to let Sidora, her husband, know that there is a video that Anthony needs to be on the lookout for, and then we're going to question this assistant situation. So once they hear about all this other stuff, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have, like, you can't deny it. Like I said, you show the people your t-shirt. You are selling t-shirts on Facebook that says, I did this service.
Actually, I'm not selling them. It was my daughter's idea, because I kept saying they need to bring me my money. So my 18-year-old, she came from the mall, and she had brought me a hoodie at first. So now I just got me some t-shirts and hoodies because it was a good idea. So yeah, I'm like, I did the service, brought me my money. I'm like, right, baby, yes. And I love the idea. So yeah, now I have people asking for them. So yeah, I will be selling.
Yeah, you better tell me I ain't got it, so give it to me.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we're definitely gonna have your contact information for people who do want to reach out and to help, and also, you know, your business information. Because like I said, I looked at your food. You know, I used to be a big girl, so I know I get a little snickety snack. So we're definitely gonna put all the description links and stuff like that in the box below for your business, for people who are in the Chicago area who definitely want to support Black businesses and, you know, get that fabulous layout that you have for Sidora. Just make sure you get the money first. I want the money, a deposit, 50% deposit plus a contract first. And so, like I said, we're definitely going to check back in with you, and hopefully this does get resolved, because even though it's funny, you're a real person, you have a real job, you really have kids, you really have a grandchild. And so this is something that you don't want to hinder your business and your career. So I definitely feel for you on that as well.
I appreciate that. And I do want to add that I will be moving back to the Atlanta area. So I'm doing Atlanta and Chicago because I travel. So I'm doing both areas.
Okay, so you heard it here first. We're doing the ATL in Chicago. However, if you live in Sugarloaf, 5, 2, 6, 7 hours away, send an Uber, Sprinter. Because apparently we can't be playing with them dark deers and raccoons and rabbits that be running through in the
Unless you have money, because I'm not that scared. Okay, I will. Got money, I'll be there. I drive through the
right. I hear that. Okay, well, thank you, Monique, for stopping by. And like I said, we'll follow up with you again very, very soon.
Okay, thank you so much. You have a good day. Bye-bye.